is Tanya with Beyond Aesthetics. I'm the owner and I'm here today with Carrie, one of our nurse practitioners. We are so excited. We're having our first virtual RHA event.
You'll have a brief presentation to watch, and then at the end you'll have a live Q&A with Kelly, Bryn, Angel, or myself.
And don't be afraid to try to stump our injectors. We are so excited because we've had RHA events before, but our prices are lower than they've ever been and lower than they're going to be for the rest of this year. So if you buy one syringe, you're going to actually get $150 off of it. If you buy 2 or more syringes, then you're actually going to get $200 off of those syringes. Go ahead, Carrie.
Make sure you stay till the very end of this event after the Q&A because we will be giving away 2 syringes, but you have to stay till the end.
We are so excited that you joined us. We can't wait to see you through the whole thing and talk to you at the end. We'll probably be doing our drawing tomorrow, and then we'll let you know who ends up winning. You do need to make sure though and book the event between now and Valentine's Day. And we're doing that because we just love our Beyond Aesthetics beauties.
Hi, I'm Carrie, nurse practitioner, aesthetic injector here at Beyond Aesthetics. I'm here to introduce the RHA collection to you. It is an FDA approved hyaluronic acid filler, the one and only to work with dynamic wrinkles and folds. This is important because our faces are constantly in motion. They're constantly showing expression as we talk, as we speak, as we think. So we want a hyaluronic acid filler to work with that movement in our face to give us a naturally appearing look. The RHA collection comes in RHA 2, 3, and 4. Hyaluronic acid in your skin naturally provides moisture, structure, volume, contour to your skin. With these, we are able to layer it in your skin to provide the look and the goals that you're choosing. Each one of them has a little bit different stretch, flexibility, so we can help work with you to decide what your goals and what your outcomes plan to be, and we can help you select which RHA is right for you. Another reason we were so excited to bring the RHA collection on board is because it's one of the newest innovations in hyaluronic acid fillers in about a decade. It is the most, you can use this filler in pretty much any ethnicity, any age, and pretty much any area on the face that you're wishing to work with. It is just very flexible, very movable, very moldable. It's great to work with. I actually really enjoy using this product. The outcomes look very natural. It keeps you looking not like you've had a bunch of filler in your face, just like you've had a little enhancement, kind of like they won't know but wondering what you did. So it's just great. It's just a fun product to work with.
So RHA is completely different than any other hyaluronic acid filler because it is specially designed with the molecular structure to move and adapt with your facial movements, which in turn gives you a really natural result. So RHA is so fun because you can use it for so many different areas. Ultimately, your injector is going to look at you and assess your face and recommend where they think you would benefit from what type of RHA. But there's different RHAs. There's 2, 3, and 4. RHA 2 is the softest and most dynamic, so it's really good for those areas you want to soften, like the nasolabial folds, fine lines and wrinkles like the perioral lines around the mouth and things like that, sometimes lips as well. RHA 3 is the most versatile because it's a good middle ground. You can use it for lips, you can use it for nasolabial folds, cheeks, and things like that. And RHA 4 is the most firm. It gives a lot of structure, so that's really great for cheekbones, jawline, and chin.
Hi, I'm Bryn. I'm one of the nurse practitioners with Beyond Aesthetics, and I just wanted to let you all know who is a good candidate for RHA filler. It is anyone who is an adult with moderate to severe facial wrinkles and folds and volume loss. Initially, when you'll see maximum results is, we usually say don't love it or hate it for 2 weeks. But initially, yes, you'll see results, but you'll also see lumps, bumps, bruises, irritation, and swelling. But just go with the rule of thumb, don't love it or hate it for 2 weeks.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm one of the injectors here at Beyond Aesthetics. I'm a nurse practitioner, and I'm going to be talking about downtime and post-care after having RHA. So when you first get home with it, you may notice some swelling, might be a little bit sore, there's numbing inside the product. So it's not going to be that sore, but you may want to use some ice afterwards. Downtime is going to be maybe a few days of swelling, but we always suggest that possibly 2 weeks total before you're going to see your perfect results. Okay, so we're going to talk about how long the results will last on your RHA filler. It has been FDA approved and studied in the United States to last up to 15 months. Of course, different areas might last a little longer, might last a little shorter, but as long as you take care of it, it should last you for a long time.
Hey guys, this is Angel, nurse practitioner at Beyond.
And I'm Carrie, nurse practitioner.
And today we're going to be injecting our patient with some RHA. We're going to be doing RHA 4 up here in her cheeks to restore a little bit of volume and height, give her a nice full cheekbone. And then we're also going to be filling a little bit of RHA 3 in her nasolabial folds. So we've got her marked, she's been numbed, and we're going to go ahead and start injecting. So for this, we're going right on the bone. Big poke, 1, 2, 3. You okay there?
Mm-hmm.
See, it's not that bad.
And just a little bolus.
Angel, why did you choose RHA 4 for this particular area and this particular client?
That is a great question. So RHA 4 has a lot of support and structure. It's the thickest, I would say, of the RHA fillers.
Firmest.
Firmest.
Another good word for it, firm?
Firm, yes. So it's the firmest, so we're going to get a lot of projection, and we don't really want it to move a whole lot in this area. This isn't an area that really needs a lot of movement. So it's still going to be dynamic, but it's going to give us a lot more support for these cheekbones. You still doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
This particular patient's having some mid-face volume loss, which is very typical. So we're trying to build up structure and give her cheeks kind of that more youthful contour, kind of just turning back the hands of time a little bit for her. For her, it's creating a little bit of the nasolabial fold because your face kind of moves down with gravity, and we're going to be doing that next and softening up that area. But when we give her some projection up here and give her some volume up here, and we're placing it right on the bone, so that gives it structure and support to kind of puff out what she has, the underlying tissues. So this will help pull up this side of her face too, even softening the nasolabial folds working up here. So this is a good place to start as you have some facial aging, to kind of lift up and work from above. Instead of just chasing lines that you see down here, you try to correct what's creating the lines. Right now I'm just kind of massaging this in and smoothing it to kind of get out any lumps and bumps. This is just a really pliable product or movable product, and just to kind of give it a really smooth appearance, and then that way we can always like sit her up and reassess and continue to see where we need to add. We can also layer this product too, so if we want to go in a different plane to give her a really good natural look. Okay, we've used maybe 3/4 of a syringe. We're not done. We just kind of started building up here along her cheekbone, and as you can see the difference right here compared to this one, we're gonna still come in here. You can see she's got a lot of flattening. So if we fluff up that flattening, you can see how it's gonna kind of pull up this nasolabial fold, which she said kind of bothered her. So we're just gonna give her a little bit of volume right up in here. You can see how that just automatically softens up that nasolabial fold. This must be the side she sleeps on. She's a little bit deeper over there. So we'll have to give her a little bit more. So you really treat what you see instead of something more of, you know, like landmarks. You go by landmarks, but you also treat what you see, because our two sides of our faces are not equal, and we will never make them equal, but we try to get close. So, okay, so the general rule of thumb to get full face restoration is probably 1 syringe per decade. So we're using a couple, so there's other areas that we could fill in, but most people want us to do miracles with 1 syringe, but sometimes it's quite a few syringes to give you that full face restoration, but this is a really good start. You'll be happy. Nasolabial folds, there's an enormous blood vessel that goes this way, runs up here. So we're doing a technique to be very safe. As you can see, I'm going perpendicular to where the nerve would be. There's other ways to do this. A really good way to use is a cannula in this area. But I'm doing this for right now because this is what Angel's going to do on the other side, so we try to be consistent. They both give a really beautiful look, but we just try to always be really safe and always know what the underlying anatomy is in those areas. See, we're already softening her up, but we've actually used quite a bit of this RHA3, so we may have to pull out another syringe for the other side. What Angel is doing here in this area is we have a little bit of blended RHA just to kind of give it a thinner property. It's kind of diluted down just because of where we're going. This actually area, even though it looks like we're doing her front cheek, and we are doing her forecheek, and we're trying to revolumize that area because that actually helps pull up on the nasolabial fold area. So we're trying to correct this area, which in turn is correcting the nasolabial folds. So it's an important thing to remember that sometimes instead of chasing lines where we're at, we're trying to build up structure behind where the fold is, or where the crease or where the deficit is, because that's how you correct some of this mid-face volume loss, by re-supporting and recreating what we have lost. So actually this area and working here on this lateral cheek area and some more of the mid-face will help also correct the nasolabial deficit that she has, or those nasolabial lines. Kira, 1, 2, 3. Didn't even flinch. So right now on Carrie, we are treating tech neck or necklace lines. Those are the little lines that we get sometimes around our neck. A lot of times from, they call it tech neck because a lot of times it's from like looking down at your phone and things like that. But I'm using a cannula here with RHA2 that's blended with some saline. And that's just gonna help us soften up these lines, smooth them out. So on our patient here, we're doing some RHA4 for her temples. So a lot of times as we age,
we start to get like hollows in our temples, just losing another fat pad there. So filler is really great for restoring that volume, helping you look a lot more youthful. So we're putting just a little bit of RHA4 in our temples for that.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. We really appreciate you guys spending your time with us tonight. And thank you, RHA. You invited us for this exclusive event, and we just can't thank you enough. You made everything possible for our clients and for us, and so we really do appreciate that. And again, you guys have 1,000 things you can do with your night. You guys spent it with us, and we really do appreciate it.
Wow, this was really so much fun. I'm so fortunate to be able to participate in these exclusive events that RHA offers.
Yes, that was so awesome.
Make sure to check your phones. You'll be receiving a link or a text message, and reply yes to schedule your appointment as soon as possible.
We're actually going to be doing the appointments from now until the 14th. So make sure you get your appointments scheduled with us for your exclusive events because we love you guys and we want to see you back in the office.
And for those of you that are eligible for the giveaways, make sure that you have your phones close by because somebody will be calling you tomorrow and letting you know that you are the big winner.
Thanks again, everyone. Have a good night. We'll see you soon at the office. Hi everyone! Did you guys enjoy that? Was that not an absolutely awesome video? We are so happy that you guys stayed for this part. Stay for the rest of it. We're going to start answering some questions and answers. Again, my name is Tanya.
I'm Kelly.
Carrie.
Angel.
And I'm Bryn.
Should we talk about pricing?
Yes,
Yes.
pricing.
So pricing for these syringes are typically $700 per syringe. Each one is exactly the same price as the other. But if you stay till the very, very end, you will get the opportunity to purchase one syringe at $150 off or two or more at $200 off.
And in order to get the deal for this awesome RHA event that we're doing, we would like for our clients to book by Valentine's Day, February 14th, to get your RHA, and that way you get these awesome deals.
And make sure you stay till the end. We'll send you a link, and then tomorrow we announce our big winners. So let's start with questions.
Sounds good.
I'll start with this first one here since I had my neck done on the video. It says, generally, how many syringes would it take to treat a tech neck? That's a great question. I think it depends on how bad your wrinkling is or how bad the necklace lines are. I had one in mine. Angel did it. She diluted it down, making it thinner so it could spread smooth because it's a pretty superficial injection. But we assess your neck and we tell you, yeah, 1 syringe, 2 syringe, or whatever it may be, or if it's a combination therapy. Next.
All right. All right. There is a question. Is there a price difference for the 2, 3, or 4? Tanya, did you want to answer that one?
There is no price difference. So all the fillers with RHA are the same price. So really, if you do buy multiple syringes, though, you do get a price break.
I will. The next question is this for the lips also and for fuller lip? Absolutely. We love using this in the lips. Typically either the 2 or the 3. The 2 will give you a little bit smoothness to it, more movement with it. The 3 will give you a little bit fuller look.
Hydrated too with the 2, I noticed.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good one. When you refer to the word dynamic, what does that mean? Movable, stretchable. That's what kind of gives you an elastic when your face moves, instead of giving you sometimes a filler that's just stuck in one place, it stretches and moves back and forth. So dynamic is movement. And that's what this filler is really the best for, is to give you a very natural look. It says, flawless emotion. So that's dynamic. I think I over-explained.
That's awesome. That's a good explanation. Okay, our next question, is there a numbing cream or product used for the injections? So yes, we can put topical numbing cream to make it more comfortable whenever we inject with the needle. There's also numbing in the actual filler too. So as it's being injected, you'll start to feel more and more numb, especially for things like lips that can kind of be a few more pokes. As the product's going in, the more we inject, the more numb you're going to get too.
Oh, we have Pronox too.
And we have Pronox now, so that's fun. That'll make it a fun experience.
All right. Are there any medical diagnoses or concerns that eliminate patients from being able to get RHA? I want to say not a hard no. Of course, if you're on any type of anticoagulants, blood thinners, things like that, you're more likely to bruise, may have a little bit more bleeding with each injection. And one of the newest things is if you've had a COVID vaccine in the last, say, 2 months or 4 months, you can get an inflammatory response, sort of like an allergic response to it, and it can be delayed. So that's something that we really need to know about before you come in and get that done.
I think some autoimmune, or if you develop a lot of keloids, like really thick scars, you may want to do test areas. We can always do a little, spot here or behind your ear before we actually inject you, and give it a little bit of time and see how you respond. So that way we can make it a little bit safer for you to try it.
And then, of course, the biggest thing is if you've ever had a reaction to hyaluronic acid before of any kind, then that's probably something that would exclude you from this too.
Also, HA is naturally found in our body, so it's pretty well tolerated. So here's the next one. Can RHA be used in the 11s that may not completely smooth even with Botox? No. This is the no-fly zone. I get this question all the time. We can use threads, we can do other things, but this is a absolute no, because you can block up blood vessels, which can lead to blindness. So no. Sorry, Tammy.
What is the cost? Tanya, did you want to?
So the cost is $700, but then again, if you buy one, it's $150 off, and if you buy more than one, it's $200 off the $700. So all the syringes are the same; they're all $700 a piece.
You can answer this one about neckline already. Pricing. How many syringes for lip RHA? So it really depends. If it's your first time doing any lip filler, you might want to start with one. Is a good place to start, maybe even less, because we can always build over time. It's better to do that than to overfill and you not be happy or something like that. Because with filler, a lot of times you can have an initial swelling, so they'll be a lot bigger. You might have some bruising, lumps, and bumps at first, and then after about 2 weeks, it kind of calms down, and you can see the final results. And that's a great time to kind of decide if you want to do more, because you can always add another syringe if you love your results and you want to add some more.
I'll do this one, Tammy. This is another great question. Can anything be done if a patient has reaction to the RHA? Is there anything to counteract, dissolve it quickly? We do have hyaluronidase or Hylenex that can dissolve hyaluronic acid filler. If you're having an allergic reaction, there are some medications that we can give you emergently, just like any other allergic reaction, to treat it. So yes, the answer is yes to that, Tammy.
What is the typical number of syringes needed for a first-time user? Well, that all depends. So like Angel had said, if we're starting out with lips, you may just want to start out with one syringe. If we overfill that area, you might not be happy with it. We can always build up. It's more difficult to take away. But if you're doing other areas, mid-face, nasolabial folds, anywhere like that, the rule of thumb is about a syringe per decade of your age. So if you're in your 40s, you want to probably count on about 4 syringes, just depending on the area though. But we would have to look at you, give you the consultation, and decide that.
Okay. What is the difference between, oh no. What is the difference between Juvederm and RHA? Okay, so there are a lot of brands of hyaluronic acid fillers out there, HA fillers. They all have different names. They've all been around for different amounts of times. RHA is one of the newest ones. And it's really neat because it is more dynamic. It's the first that's been approved for dynamic folds and wrinkles, which really sets it apart from other HA fillers that are out there because it moves, like Carrie was saying, with your face and just gives you a more natural look that way. So that's the biggest difference that makes RHA so unique.
And it's more like your natural hyaluronic acid that's found in your system too.
It's also been shown to last longer. It's say about 15 months as opposed to a lot of the other fillers. So Juvederm is maybe like 6 to 9, depending on where you put it. If it's more movable area, you metabolize it quicker. But if you put it up here in cheeks or temples, it can last longer. But RHA has been shown to be last about 15 months.
Is it better to start with one area first? I want my jawline done and maybe neck. Well, it depends on what you want with your jawline. Typically, if there's something on the lower face that you're wanting to correct, your marionettes, nasolabial folds, things like that, because over time we lose a lot of volume in our mid face and we need to support that first. So if you're more concerned of like lower areas here, we actually want to look more at your cheeks and your cheekbones so we can kind of lift all that up and support it. If it's strictly jawline, yes, we can definitely work on that. We can make it a little bit more crisp, more protrusion if you need that. And then the neck, as in like when Carrie had that done, we can definitely work on that as well.
Bryn, do you want to answer a question?
Yeah, Bryn.
Bryn, our other nurse practitioner, is on with us too from home. So do you want to answer this question, Bryn? Can you see, it says how many syringes for lips and cheeks approximately? So maybe you could say like.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, it really depends on the patient themselves and what their goals are. Expectations versus reality is always a hard balance. I never recommend doing more than one syringe at a time. It's definitely easier to build your lips than trying to put 2 syringes in at one time. You can even start with a half a syringe, and as you adjust and kind of see how your lips feel after those 2 weeks, we can go ahead and put the rest of the syringe in. But as the girls have said before, it's definitely easier to build for the lips. And then the cheeks, it definitely just depends on how much structure needs to be supported. Usually the rule of thumb, they talked about the decades, but also a lot of times each cheek usually requires a syringe each side. Sometimes it requires 2 on each side. But it really is patient specific, but that can kind of give you an idea of what to expect when you come in.
I think that was great.
Thank you, Bryn.
So we said RHA lasts up to 15 months. How does it compare to other fillers currently on the market? Do you want to say a little bit more about that, Carrie, since you touched on it?
Well, I guess they all have, like, depending on the properties. I mean, like I said, RHA has, their studies have shown, they put them comparison, like they'll show you all the data and all the different ones. So I can't go through each one specifically, but RHA is the only one that has been shown to last or still be in a patient for up to 15 months. And like I said, depending on the location, you do metabolize certain ones quicker. Of course, mouth goes quick because if you're like me, always moving it. So that's a little quicker than other places. So that's one of the things.
How about deep lines by your mouth? Will the filler only get rid of them? So to kind of touch on what Kelly said, a lot of times these deeper lines around the mouth or even the marionette lines are caused because our fat pads get diminished and everything starts to kind of sink down. So a lot of times we'll recommend maybe even starting with replenishing what's lost up here, and that kind of lifts things up and helps soften those lines around the mouth or in the nasolabial folds. So it really just depends on, what we see whenever you come in. So it's always good to kind of get an opinion of that and some recommendations by your injector. But definitely, if you do have lines around your mouth and your nasolabial folds that you want filled specifically there, filler's really great for that. RHA 2 especially, 2 or 3, is really good for softening those lines and kind of filling them back in.
All right. Can you get other procedures such as plasma done with the fillers? The answer is yes, you can. We actually have done a little bit of looking into this because we do have some new toys that we can play with here. But we want you to definitely wait at least a couple weeks, most preferably, probably more than like a month. But yes, we can do other things after that. So yeah.
Can this be used to sculpt the chin? Yes. And chins are so much fun because they make a big difference and you can tell right away. I think a lot of times we don't realize how much adding a chin can even make your lips look bigger or make your jaw look better, make your face look slimmer. So it's a really fun area to treat. Usually we use RHA 4 because it does provide a lot of structure and a little bit more firmness to that area. So yes, chins are great.
Bryn, do you want to take the next one? Is there concern with allergies with the product?
Sorry. Wait. I couldn't. What is the question again?
Is there a concern with allergies with this product?
Only if you've had an allergic reaction to any hyaluronic acid prior to. And that could be even mean some of the moisturizers have hyaluronic acid in it. So that would just be the allergy.
Yeah, that's the only one I know of too.
Okay. Just making sure.
Is there anything I should stop taking before getting filler? A lot of times we'll recommend, like if you're on anything that was in your blood, like a lot of times ibuprofen, aspirin, things like that. If you take that regularly, that can cause you to be more prone to bruising. Anytime a needle goes in your skin, you're just at a higher risk for bruising, and we try to avoid that as much as we can, but sometimes it just happens. So if you can do things like stop taking alcohol and some herbal supplements can also make you higher risk for bleeding too. What else?
Yeah, ibuprofen, aspirin, Aleve. Some people say some fish oils before procedures. If you're on any blood thinners, consult your PCP first before doing it. We have injected with people on blood thinners. We just kind of watch them a little closer, and depending on what it is. But we've done it, and it's possible. But there's other ways to like decrease the amount of bleeding and bruising you have.
How long does the RHA lip injection last? Well, like Carrie mentioned earlier, our lips actually will go away first because we move our mouths a lot. So it's FDA approved for up to 15 months. I think we've had it for a year, right? And we're still actually pretty good. Yeah. So I would say probably about 12 to 15 months.
Are there a certain number of sessions needed? So there really isn't a certain number that you have to go by as far as syringes or treatments. The nice thing with filler is it's kind of like an immediate effect. You see the immediate results, and then of course you'll have some swelling and things that need to settle for about 2 weeks. But pretty much by that 2-week point, you're going to know how it looks, and you can kind of decide if you do want a little bit more, or maybe even in a couple months you are ready for a little bit more. So it can be addictive. So you can have more, after that 2-week point.
All right. Does this replace Botox? Well, that would be no, because they are two completely different things. Filler is just that. It's filling in deficits, making things a little bit more bougie if you want them. But Botox is a neurotoxin, so that's going to relax muscles from movement.
Do you want to say Tammy's? You go ahead.
Okay. Kind of makes sense. Okay. Is there anything I can take to help with bruising if I get lip filler? Yes, definitely. So definitely avoid those things that we were talking about, things that make you more prone to bleeding. But then also arnica over the counter is really, really helpful to help decrease bruising and swelling, things like that. And then also we've got post-injection serum and different serums like that that really help even as you're preparing to get any type of injections or treatments done. Did I say that right, Tony?
Yeah,
Is that
that's
helpful?
right.
Okay. And that we put some on after as well to help decrease the incidence of bruising. And if you do get bruising, ice always helps, and just kind of putting that post-injection serum on.
Sure. Bryn, do you want to do the next one again? Go share the fun.
If you want to read it, or I can go look at the questions.
Says, are there certain repetitive motions, such as sucking on a straw, that can damage your RHA filler in your lips or cause it to dissolve sooner than expected?
It's not necessarily going to damage the filler itself. It is, you can metabolize it faster. So anything that's going to increase your metabolism, so exercise, anything that increases your heart rate. So there's repetitive motions, and that's why you metabolize your lips faster, as well as our lips are vascular. And if your face is really expressive, that's why people will then metabolize their Botox faster, or if they do exercise, because then that increases your metabolism. I hope that answers the question.
That sounds good.
Okay.
All right, so the next question is, do you offer financing options? Yes, we do offer financing options. We have care credit, and so if you want to put it on care credit, I think you have between 6 months to a year to pay that off, and there's no interest for that. So,
All right. If a person metabolizes Botox fairly quickly, does that indicate how fast they might metabolize fillers? So it is different since they're different products, but I think kind of following along what Bryn said, if you kind of just have a fast metabolism in general, if you work out a lot or you're just a very active and expressive person, you might metabolize filler similarly, but it's just kind of hard to know. But it very well might. You might. What do you guys think? Kind of.
I think it's
Okay.
kind of the same.
Oh, I got kind of like a 2-in-1 question there.
Oh, look. Consultation.
okay, so it says, how much is a consultation? So there is no fee associated with a consultation. If you want to come in, you get about 15 to 20 minutes with one of our nurse practitioners. They can kind of diagnose and tell you how much and which product they feel like is appropriate for you to treat.
Oh, you did it to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. What about under eye wrinkles? Is it good for tightening that area since it's so sensitive and thin skin? So actually, Carrie and I got to kind of play around on each other, and I did this to her. So we used a blended product, so it made it a little bit thinner, went right superficially under the skin, and it filled it out pretty nicely, actually. And the little wrinkles that are in there look really great. Now, because it is sensitive and thin, guess what? You're going to get black eyes. You're going to bruise.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. It will go away.
I did have 2 black eyes. Next question is, can you soften facial scars? This is kind of a maybe. So sometimes if, you get a chunk of skin taken out from some sort of trauma, we can kind of lift that up, but we have a whole array of other new things here that we can use to soften and fix scars up or lighten them. So we have options to work on scars here.
Okay, I've had filler in the past. How do you know if and when I need more? So pretty much once that filler has settled, if you want to come in for a consultation, we can kind of look and see. Most of the time, if you're ready for some more, we can put some more in. And it just kind of depends because we definitely want to place it correctly. A lot of times filler can get overfilled or sometimes in rare occasions it can migrate. So we want to make sure we're putting it in the right place. So definitely come in and let us take a look. But if you're a candidate for more, then it's always great to add more in increments.
Oh, Stacy, thank you. No questions. Just wanted you to know how amazing you all are. Thank you for being so thorough with answering the questions. I'm learning a lot. Yay!
Aww,
love you,
That's awesome.
Stacy.
Okay, tear trough filler.
Oh, look, we just talked about this. Can you fill your tear trough? Technically, yes. So we literally just talked about this, but that's okay. But yes, and honestly, I do feel like the thinning or the blending, it was a really, really good technique for that. There are lots of little blood vessels and things down in there that we want to try to keep away from, like Carrie said earlier, with making occlusions, possible blindness, all that good stuff. We really don't like to do that to people. So we will definitely look at you and things like that. But yes, we can fill it. We'll go low and slow if we need to. Just don't get too sad if you get some black eye.
Here, Bren, if you want to answer this one, maybe somebody asked, I have a special occasion. How many weeks prior would you recommend coming in for the filler?
At least 2 weeks, but I would give yourself a good 4 just to be on the safe side, in case you don't love it, or if you don't love it, and especially if you hate it, and to give yourself time to let the bruising go away. So at least 2 weeks.
Awesome. You mentioned not having the RHA filler after having the COVID shot due to inflammation. Does that include other fillers such as Juvederm or other fillers? I think it's just across the board to be safe, because there's so much we still don't know. But as long as it's been, how long are we waiting?
The articles I read said about 8 weeks.
Yeah. So really, as long as we kind of wait and it's not immediately after, then you should be good with any fillers. We just want to make sure that you have the best outcomes, of course, and that there's nothing that could interact, of course.
Does sun or tanning affect your filler? It should not. It is underneath the skin. I mean, I can't imagine unless you're on the sun.
Then
It gets really hot and it'll melt. But no, it should not affect anything with the filler.
Okay, some people that had filler have a look of a chipmunk cheeks. Oh, almost chubby face. Or is that the result of misplacement or overfill? Or is that just how they reacted to it? I would have to say it is sometimes overfilled, and yeah, sometimes it is placement. And it is something we try to avoid here. We try to keep you natural looking. So yes, these cheeks up here, some people just love that, and we try to make you happy, but it's kind of something we try to avoid at all costs.
But again, it's also a dynamic, RHA is, so that usually avoids that chipmunk look.
Right.
Because when you implant RHA, it doesn't always have that just stuck there filler.
Right. Yeah,
too.
absolutely. Right.
Great. I think we're caught up with all the questions. Does anybody else have any questions they would like to ask?
That's a lot of questions.
A little bit. I know.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. You guys had some great questions. We hope this was informative. We hope that you enjoyed yourself on this cold, rainy night. So thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Don't forget to check tomorrow if you want.
Yes.
We'll see you guys soon.